Hi, welcome to my channel and another K-pop opinions video. Reminder that these are just opinions. You don't have to agree, but keep it respectful in the comments. Let's get into it. 1. Izna deserved the backlash for lip-syncing their golden cover. The fact that people are defending this is wild to me. K-pop stans have gotten way too comfortable excusing lip-syncing, even in situations where it makes zero sense. This wasn't some high-intensity, dance-heavy comeback stage. It was a cover performance, a performance they and their company chose. So why pick a vocally demanding song like Golden just to lip-sync? If they knew they couldn't deliver the vocals, they had two options. They could have either picked a less vocally challenging song or scrap the choreo completely. Nobody would have cared if they just stood still with mics and sang. From what I've seen, people love the song because of its powerful vocals, not because it has cool dance moves. This could have been a viral moment showing Izna can really sing. But instead, the moment they finally get some attention, it's for lip syncing. Don't use a vocal showcase as a marketing stunt if you're not actually going to sing live. 2. Newbeats' gnarly cover was a mess. I usually don't care when boy groups make choreography more masculine, it's expected, but if you have to change 70% of the original moves just to make it fit your image, just pick a different song. The point of a cover is to honor the original, not strip it down until it's barely recognizable. On top of that, the auto-tune was awful. It made them sound like robots or like they were singing through a fan. It honestly felt more like they were trying to mimic Justin's Myrick version than the Cat's Eye version.
Oh my god, the new beat. Oh my god, is this real? Oh my god, the new beat. Oh my god, is this real?
Now, the one thing I'll defend them on is the English. Making fun of their accents or mocking the way they pronounce words is borderline racist. They're not fluent, and they're clearly trying. Critique the performance all you want, but don't turn it into a joke about their language skills. Everything else though, yeah, they should have just covered something like Stray Kids instead. At least that would have played to their strengths. 3. K-pop groups needs to stop covering older K-pop songs just to make them boring. First Stacy did it with their fancy cover and somehow removed all the fun, hype and excitement out of the song and turned it into this whispery, lifeless version with the instrumental being empty and the vocals being flat. New Jeans did it with Tell Me, aespa with Rum Pum Pum Pum, and now this 1/5 gen group, Bling 1 covering Kara's Mister and made it sound like every other boring 5th gen YDK remix. I get wanting to make the cover to match more of the group's personal vibe, but they're just stripping these songs of all their flavor and calling it modern. 4. The obsession around Yuna's hip pads needs to stop. Every 6 months, like clockwork, Yuna trends again for wearing hip pads, as if we haven't been knowing she and a bunch of other female idols wear them. Yes, she lied about it. Yes, she have young and impressionable fans and shouldn't have lied, but there's bigger issues in the world than still clinging onto words she said in an interview from like 2 years ago. Y'all easily forget about the S-airs and problematic people in K-pop but refuse to forget about that one interview. If she like how her hip pads look, then so what? That's her business. She's not forcing y'all to wear them, so there's no reason to keep talking about them and to be comparing her body from when she was 15 to her now 22-year-old self trying to prove something when most people already acknowledge she wears hip pads but don't care to talk about it because it's such a non-issue. Only a small portion of midsis actually thinks they're real, so please wrap this discussion up once and for all. Y'all stay bullying female idols for plastic surgery or hip pads but never say anything about male idols' obvious nose jobs, and it's tiring. 5. IVE are not turning into Wonyoung carbon copies, and anyone who thinks that is blind. This take is so lazy and starting to get on my nerves. The moment Liz dye her hair brown and loses weight, people start claiming Starship is forcing IVE to look like Wonyoung. Like, please don't piss me off. Mind you, Liz said herself she dyed her hair because the color was hard to maintain. Like, God forbid a girl wants to save the last of her hair after having it dyed, fried and laid to the side every comeback since debut. As for the other members, Eugene, Gail, Ray and Licio, they all have such different facial features, bone structures and vibes. If you can't tell them apart from Wonyoung, then book a optometrist appointment. What's wild is that these are the same people who gave Wonyoung a hate train for always getting the best styling and standing out too much. And now that the stylists give the group more cohesive outfits and makeup styling, they all suddenly look the same and lost their individuality. Like, do y'all want them styled equally or not? Because y'all keep flip-flopping between the two when it fits y'all agenda to subtly shade Wonyoung in disguise of being concerned for the members. 6. Manon and Lara wasn't queer baiting. Lara is bisexual and Manon has stated how she doesn't want to openly talk about her sexuality with fans. The concept of a queer woman queer baiting sounds absolutely goofy. Is it just me noticing how people are low-key trying to give Cat's Eye a hate train? Like every week I swear it's someone looking high and low for a problem. And since their Lollapalooza performance was undeniably amazing, people are trying to make this queer baiting thing into reality. 7. I don't see a future for Everglow. If you didn't know, it was announced they're going forward as a 4-member group, losing Mia and Yirin, who were basically the core of the group, and as someone who's stanned Everglow since 2020, I just don't see a positive path ahead for them. Mia was their main vocalist and main dancer. She sang about 80% of their lines. When people think of Everglow's music, most immediately picture Mia's voice because that was their sound. Everglow was basically built around her. Now, I don't know how they plan to redistribute her parts without the song sounding off, and I'm worried their signature sound is about to change drastically without Mia's voice. Yirin was their center and arguably their most popular and most biased member and the key to their China support. Losing her is going to cost them a big chunk of fans, especially in the Chinese market. Honestly, it sucks that they're not 6 anymore, but I get why they left. Mia's talked openly about how being an idol took a toll on her mentally and physically. She faced constant hate from the company, haters, and even her own fandom over line distributions that weren't her fault. Yirin has better opportunities in China, and that makes sense for her career right now. Maybe when Yirin's contract with Yuna China ends, she could come back to Everglow. But looking at how things went, especially after those Japan fan meeting teasers, I feel like this was inevitable. I hope I'm wrong and Everglow blows up again, but honestly I just don't see it happening. I think they'll end up disbanding within the next year or two. 8. Line distributions don't need to be fair. Not every idol is in the group to sing. Momo from Twice is one of the clearest examples of this. During 16, she was eliminated and then brought back not because of her vocals, but because JYP believed the group needed a strong main dancer. That was the reason she debuted. She wasn't brought back to sing, she was brought back to perform. So when onces complain that her talent isn't being properly showcased, it doesn't really hold up. Because JYP giving Momo damn near every dance break in Twice's 10 years of being a group is them showcasing Momo's talent. Line distributions aren't meant to be equal, because group roles aren't equal. If someone was added for dance, they'll shine in choreography. If someone was added to sing, they'll carry the chorus. You can't expect equal time when the skills aren't equally distributed in the first place. Obviously this doesn't apply to every group, but for groups like Twice and LE SSERAFIM, who constantly gets backlash for bad line distributions. 9. Starship is getting lazy with IVE. They used AI for IVE's comeback teasers, and their comeback schedule was full of typos. It looked like it was thrown together in under 10 minutes. Compare that to what they're doing with Kiki, a brand new group. Kiki got stunning teaser concepts, an interactive website, and some of the most creative visuals this year. There's actual effort and a clear concept behind it. Even Starship New Boy Group got cool album inclusions. Meanwhile, IVE, their moneymakers, the group that saved them from bankruptcy and allowed them to afford a second $46 million building, gets rushed visuals, AI slop, and album packaging that feels like an afterthought. The creative team isn't even trying at this point. And using AI at all is tone deaf, considering both Yujin and Wonyoung have been victims of deepfakes. You'd think the company would be more cautious, but clearly not. Whatever happened to the creative direction from Hey era? Bring that team back, because whoever's in charge now is not doing IVE justice. Anyways, that's all of my K-pop opinions for now. Thank you for watching till the end. Goodbye.